I just noticed he had two tails this morning. I looked at it for 3 weeks, didn't see. That's my biggest problem with these AI rats is errant tails. I get errant tails all the time, but I just saw this one this morning.
Your tails for extra good balance.
That's right.
No, it's good tasted. I think.
I don't know. But that's bizarre, the double tail thing.
It just kind of erase it off.
It could happen.
It's harder to do than it is to just create a new one.
Fall off.
Nah, man. They go back to looping around. Yeah. All right, so if you finished, if you did the whacker, and you done cats in the bag, and the middle whackers in the box, and all the springs returned. And I still untangling those. I'm sorry. Henry.
Why?
Almost had these. We're almost done. Hooray. Yay.
Okay, why do you need two pillows? Because now I have none. And you have two as well. Both of you have two. I can take one. And I have none. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, they should see you.
Yes.
Oh, those. Okay, yeah, it doesn't.
That's the lie. You have to play. You have the best sweets.
Oh.
Right.
On the floor.
That's why. On the phone. Actually, wait, Ozzy will be on the floor. Oh my god. I feel like something.
Thank you, Chloe, thank you. Maybe one day I'll get it outside so we can actually leave it out there. It's really fun. I bought Teflon for it because I figured it's least likely to break.
Look at it.
Fun.
Thank you.
No, see, same.
I just spread hand sanitizer on the girls' lab, but.
I can sit on the floor.
Yep. The what? I wouldn't get rid of it, maybe take it out and put it away, but you probably need it to find out more of that.
Yeah, you have a soup.
Joey doesn't.
Where? Right there. Yeah, see, you got the
Yes.
it's a camouflage.
It's invisible.
Yeah. I don't know why you decided to do that, but it's. Yeah, he has two tails.
Oh, you don't. He's a beautiful.
Those are the best for diamonds.
Well, stalking ones.
Yeah.
One the top they were at.
Yeah.
Go home, Nathan. Go home, Nathan. You are drunk. I didn't notice it until Danny pointed it
No,
out.
Lucas, go home anyway, you're drunk.
Why? There's two tables.
I might bring the bin whackers back next week.
Yeah.
Next week's
No,
lab
he's
is
like,
an
"Tell
out
Sonic."
history lab.
He's the weather.
Weather permitting.
There's
Now,
two
it's
types of
supposed to be
people.
cold, but it's not supposed to
There's the
rain.
person who loves to do the good wax and wants them back.
No.
And there's the person who absolutely hates the noise that they make and wants them to.
Please bring them back.
All people are.
Yeah, no. Now that the bin whackers are available, let me know. I know you're not fond of that.
It's fun until people get over it. Ozzy.
I already
That's
love
when it
this
gets more
morning.
fun.
Yeah,
Because-
that's when people want to.
Yeah, we should get David with saying, we were scaring Auntie with all that.
It's all over. It's all on me. Oh my
I don't know.
The rat has two tails.
Yeah, I already said that. I get scared when it's storming.
Hello.
Okay, stuff
Oh,
God, you spoiled rotten. All right. We do have a mentee today. It's towards the end of the lesson, but it's getting hot. Alexa, turn the gas log off. Enough. All right. So, you don't hear me? Yeah, you do. It just took a minute there. We're gonna start our properties of waves. Woo! Obviously, we did that already, huh? Drew, close the pantry. Are we all hearing good? All right. So, mechanical, but I know mommy's got crackers, huh? Oh, he's okay. We need to jump in. Oh, no, thank God. Chill. You wanna come see mommy? Come on. Good boy. All right, so mechanical waves. Here we go. Mechanical waves are a disturbance in matter that carry what from one place to another. All right, Caitlin. Right on. All right. Sorry, I'm hungry. I'm eating. Carry energy. Now, the waves that we saw today that we visualized with the pendulum is a visual representation of what that energy motion would look like if you could see it. Sometimes you can see it because the medium moves. But the thing to remember is that, well, mechanical wave is created when a source of energy causes a vibration to travel through what? What do we call it, Emily? A medium. Okay. What's a medium? Anybody want to define it without using the word wave? Can you define it? Yeah, good way to put it. Matter, some kind of matter. And waves can travel through all kinds of different matter. They can go through air, they can go through water, some can go through solids, right? Some waves can't go through solids. Yep. So a lot of waves, depending on the kind of energy it's carrying and the kind of wave. Have you ever put your head down on something and tapped and then heard it? So there you've got sound that's traveling through a medium, but does light travel through a solid medium? No, right? So they don't all. So there's your medium. Yes, that's a solid medium, right? Very good. So it does go through opaque medium, which we'll be talking about in the next couple weeks when we get to light. Yes. Light, yes. So we're going to learn about light's special because it is both a particle and a wave. It behaves both ways. So, and we'll be seeing that in a couple of weeks. And there's ways you can actually prove that. There's ways you can visualize it as a particle and as a wave. So we have our three main types of waves, and they're transverse, longitudinal, and surface waves. Okay, so what kind of transverse wave did you see in lab? What did you see, Caitlin?
When you moved the spring
Mhm.
back and forth.
Yeah, that kind of left to right, that was transverse. And when we had the pendulum going, that was transverse. And how about longitudinal? What was our longitudinal wave? Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
It's like it was like expanding and retracting.
Yeah, when you were kind of pushing it forward. Oh, Colin, can you put that down for me? I want to make sure that we don't lose people. All right, so what is a vibration of a medium at right angles to the direction? What kind of wave is this we're talking about? Okay, Ridley? That's transverse wave. Okay, what does that mean at right angles? That's kind of confusing. All right, so think about a nice solid wall like this. This is your medium. If the wave is going like this, which means it's going like that at the wall, that's a transverse wave, okay? What's the highest point of a wave called? Oh boy, everybody, Bailey? There's your crest. And what's the lowest point called? Liam? Trough, right. What? Crest? I almost said quest. Crest and trough. Okay. So you see crests here, and you see troughs here, and then you see equilibrium. Now, when it comes to crests and troughs, think for a minute about point of reference, like when we talked about motion. There's motion here, right? How does point of reference play in here with crests and troughs? What do you think?
If you look upside down, the top.
Yeah, if you're looking from a different angle, from upside down, for example, your crests are now your troughs and troughs are now your crest. So when we discuss the behavior of waves, or we describe waves, those are the terms we use to describe them from our perspective, from our point of reference, or from the point of reference we've established that we're using for whatever argument or activity. Are you lost? Lucas, are you good? What? Oh, okay. All right, so I don't know. So what the lowest point was the trough. All right, so an example would be light waves. So yes, light moves as a particle and a wave, but when it is moving as a wave, it moves as a transverse wave. So just like when you guys were shaking the spring side to side, right to left, right? And here again, you see crests and troughs. Now we have a different kind of wave here that runs parallel to the direction in which the wave travels. Vibration of media is parallel. All right, Xander. Yes, longitudinal wave. So as Jordan mentioned earlier, the longitudinal wave we had was when, where is that? Was when you guys were like giving little pulses of energy to the spring and you could see it move down. Now what you saw was this kind of thing, right? It looks sort of like this. So what do you call these areas where your particles are spread out? What's that? Oh, let's see, it wasn't gone yet. Milo. Yeah, where they're spread out as rarefractions, and where is it where they're squashed together? Okay, Milo again. Compressions. All right, compression makes sense. This is kind of backwards the way I wrote it. Spaced close together are compressions, and spread out is rarefactions. So you can see it right here. You saw it when you did it, right? You tapped it and it moved through. So compressions are where they're close together. Rarefactions is where they're spread out. All right, an example is sound waves. So when you guys were whacking the heck out of the boom whackers and causing complete and total chaos, there were longitudinal waves flying through the air, and that's how we all heard it, because the longitudinal waves, right? You've got compressions like this. Think about your eardrum. Okay, it's a flat surface, fairly flat, and it's reacting to stuff that taps it. And it's going to take that energy that comes through it, and it's going to tap it down into your ear. And we talk about how hearing works. Especially like in biology, we talk about it a little more, but there are all these little hairs, like little tiny cells that are like almost like hairs in your ears. And when they move, they send the electrical, they convert that energy into electrical energy that your brain then analyzes and you perceive as sound, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for the previous one, how much compression is actually compression?
Ah, good question. I would say anything separate from whatever rest is would be compression. Anything that's tighter than rest would be compression. Anything that's more relaxed than rest. So like when you have the spring just kind of stretched a little gently and before you gave it any energy, I'd say that's rest. So no matter how much you send forward, if it's any change, I would say that would be a compression. Good question. All right. So what kind of waves go along a surface? That's easy. Emily? Perfect wave. Da-da-da. All right, and here are two examples. We talked about surface waves when we talked about earthquakes, right? This is like seismic waves, right? Go along the surface. And they're kind of like these guys here are kind of like a combination of surface and transverse waves. And they're rolling. Some of them are rolling. So ocean waves, as they approach a shore, these are rolling. So these are your surface waves. You can see how they kind of roll, right? You ever watch like something get hung up in a wave at the beach and kind of cycle around like that, goes under, comes back, goes under, comes back? That can happen to a person in the water too. That's a lot of fun. I
watched my shark. I had a toy shark. It kept on going on.
It was what?
I had a toy shark.
A shark.
It was moving super fast.
Yep.
And then they had a red flag at the beach signaling it was a very bad.
You're like, bye shark, I'll never see you again. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about properties of waves. So you guys visualized a lot of this just now in lab. So any motion that repeats at regular time intervals, what do we call that? Caitlin?
Periodic motion.
Periodic motion, very good. All right, and Xander, what's the time required for one cycle, a complete motion that returns to the starting point? There you go, period. So when we watched the pendulum, okay, the starting point there was when they were all in the middle, and you could see it did this motion. Eventually it returned to where it started, right? So you could tell though that the ones with the longer chords compared to the ones, what was the relationship between the longer chord and the shorter chord and coming back to the center? Like what did you observe? Somebody tell me what did you observe?
It took longer for the longer chord.
Mm-hmm.
Back.
Right. So it's taking longer for the longer chord to get the pendulum back to your starting point, your center, your equilibrium, right? And it also had a longer amplitude, right? Because we talked about how, you know, their starting point was right in line with that board above. The longer chord, the balls that hung down lower, those that chord was longer, so your amplitude was longer, right? All right, so the number of complete cycles in a given time, what do we call that, Emily? There you go, frequency. All right, now there's a couple ways to think about frequency. You can think of it, like they said, the number of cycles in a given time. You can also think of it as the number of times a point in any wave passes a certain, almost like a marker. So like say I were to put like a little mark right here, the number of times that I had a crest come through in a second or a minute or whatever time you use, usually it's a second, that would be your frequency. Okay, Yusuf. Yeah, what is it? Hertz. Okay. Hertz is an interesting dude, had an interesting history. So Hertz, okay. Hertz is obviously some dude's name, German dude. Okay. And this is the, we use his name as our unit, all right? So it's a unit like any other science unit. So you can put your metric prefixes before it if you want to or whatever. But you remember a couple weeks back, we played that pitch where you could hear, you know, and then you couldn't hear, it was too low, it was too high, it was in range, it was out of range, right? So basically what that was doing is it was increasing in frequency from a note that was so low, a pitch that was so low we couldn't hear it, to a point where we could hear it, and then to a point where it was so high we could no longer hear it. And that has to do with its ability to vibrate our eardrum. So this is what it looks like if you were to take a piano keyboard, a standard piano keyboard, and assign hertz to assign the particular frequency to every note. So if you're tuning a piano based on frequency, you would use these numbers. Some piano tuners will do that. They'll use like a little, like I have a audio pitch thing on my phone where you can speak or talk or sing at a certain pitch, and it reads the frequency to you in hertz. You could also, a lot of really good piano tuners, the guy we use in particular uses, it's all by ear. He has a tuning fork and he tunes one note. And then the rest he tunes all by ear based on that one note. So that's somebody who has really good, well-trained ear, right? He knows exactly where that next note is supposed to be, and he does a fabulous job with it. And does anybody know what note an orchestra tunes to? Anybody play an instrument in an orchestra? Do you? A, you're right. Orchestras tune to A natural, and it is A4, which is the A directly above middle C. This is C4. So A4 is right here, and it's 440. So sometimes you'll hear it referred to as A440. So that's where your orchestras will tune. So that's the frequency, the number of times that that particular wave is passing through the same point within a second, right? Okay. So that's frequency. Wavelength. All right, so the distance between a point on one wave and the same point on the next one is, PJ? That's wavelength. Okay, so right here, between the crest of one and the crest of another, or the trough of one and the trough of another. Usually it's going to be the one that's immediately following it or before it, however you're doing it, right? So this is your wavelength. So if you increase the frequency of a wave, it decreases its wavelength. Think about that for a minute. What kind of a relationship is that? What do we call that? You know? Not indirectly, but you're real close. No, you had the prefix right. Inversely proportional. Good job. Inversely proportional. Okay. So if you have a wave and it's passing through your point at a particular rate, if it starts going through there faster, it's because your wavelengths are getting closer and closer together. So if your frequency goes up, the number of times it passes through that point, then your wavelength is going to get closer and closer together, right? So it's going to get smaller, the measurement from here to here. So if you assume that waves are traveling at a constant speed, then the wavelength is inversely proportional to the frequency. So what is the maximum displacement of a wave from its resting position, which is like the height or depth of a wave, Liam? Amplitude, okay. And the more energy a wave has, the greater its amplitude. Okay, so think back to our waveform pendulum just a few minutes ago. Somebody gave it a very gentle swing. Who was it? Was it your swing that was gentle? I think yours was gentle and Darcy's was real big. Vice versa. Okay, Darcy's was the small one. So she only gave it a little bit of energy, right? And the amplitude was smaller. So that would be your distance from, in line with the board, your equilibrium, to the top of your trough and or the bottom, top of your crest, sorry, and or the bottom of your trough, right? And then when Yusuf gave it a really big swing, brought it back really high, he added more energy, right? What kind of energy is he adding? PJ? Think about it. What'd you add?
Potential.
What kind of potential?
Gravitational.
Yes, good. You guys are relating things from one assignment to another. I love it. Yes, gravitational potential energy. So if you pull it back higher, like when Yusuf pulled the board back real high, he gave it more gravitational potential energy than if you only pulled it back a little. So when you give it more energy, you can think of it like a bigger swing, but you're getting more amplitude, right? All right. So who has their phone ready? I'll give you a minute. We're going to Mentimeter here for a bit. Your lesson was a shorter one, so no, not necessary. But if you have your phone, go ahead and get it out. I'll give you a minute. All right, we all about got it?
No,
Oh, hang on, let Jordan get it. All right. First question. So these are kind of fun. Since we're talking about waves, I threw in, I threw in some surfer related questions. Just for fun.
I don't know why, it was translated into Japanese.
Oh, really?
Yes, it just keeps scrolling over to the translate option.
Wow. All right, so here's our first one. What's the meaning of this hand gesture he's given? Let's see. It's waiting for responses. Well, here they come. Row. All right. Good waves. That's a good one. Ooh.
Carrot.
Intent carrot. Yeah, carrot. There it is. Every time you count on carrot. Hey, I blame Colin for that. Am I right? No. Ah,
also like.
yeah.
Hey.
Shanana. All right.
Also like
That's a fun one. K-lot. Okay. So the answer here is it's hang loose or right on or thank you. Things are great. So it's actually a sign from Hawaiian culture. It's called the shaka sign. When I was in elementary school, there were some, I lived at the beach, right? So we had a lot of surfers. But we had some boys in my 6th grade class who were like, shaka bra. And they said it all the time. I'm like, I don't think that's a thing, but you can say it all you want. So they did. But yeah, it's the shaka sign. So it's a greeting. It's a friendly greeting. So it's kind of like hello or shalom or salam or any of those things in different cultures that mean like hi, peace, cool. It's like doing this in like kind of American culture, right? Similar to that. All right. Now, the pinnacle of professional surfing is the ASP World Tour. The Quicksilver Pro is the first stop. Where do you think it is? Is it going to be USA, Brazil, or Australia? There are some science ones in here, but they're fun surf ones first. Anybody ever been to Brazil?
I
Oh,
want to go.
How about Australia? Anybody been there?
No.
That's on my list, man.
I have never been anywhere outside of the United
I
States.
think Brazil.
Girl, boy, you need to travel some, huh?
Brazil's really big. I really want to go.
What language do they speak in Brazil?
Portuguese.
All right, thank you.
Specific dialect of Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
So there's words very different than Portuguese.
They do have some that are different. You are right.
Kinda like
All right, well, there's our answer. Australia. Very good. Okay, how about this one? What's a dagger board? We're learning some fun surf stuff.
It's the carrot board.
You want to learn when to stop.
Mhm.
Like,
No.
so I've never heard of the joke, the saying, the horse is dead.
Ah,
Killed the horse. Stop it.
beating it to death.
Yeah, you have to beat the horse to death.
dead. You like captured it.
Oh my gosh. Carrot is not stupid and never stops. All right.
I'm gonna be glad this is my last year.
Yeah, yeah. Aren't you blessed? Surfboard with a knife. Okay, that's a good one. So a dagger board's actually this thing underneath the surfboard. It's usually if they have a really big long one. What do you suppose this is for?
Oh, that's what they steer, isn't it?
Yeah, uh-huh.
It's like
I
it's not
just
still
typed in
to prevent it going to-
Yeah, it prevents it from going sideways. It keeps it straight. It's like a rudder. Lucas.
Control it.
Lucas.
It's like a dorsal fin on a car.
Yeah, well, not the dorsal, but the ventral fin, bottom side. Dorsal's top, ventral's bottom, right? But yeah, anybody ever operate a boat that has a rudder that you move?
Oh.
So you move the rudder and it steers the boat. You move it one way, it steers the boat the other way, right? So that is basically like a fixed rudder, right? So it keeps it straight. Yep, sailboats do have dagger boards too. All right, how about this one? This one's a fun one. Huntington Beach, California has a nickname because of its influence on surfing. So what is the nickname for Huntington Beach, California? Anybody think they know?
Those are from giant wings and stuff.
Oh, I think I know.
Raw.
See if anybody figures it out.
I know.
Here we go.
Raw.
Garrett, always
Raw.
Redneck Surfing Central. I don't know about that one. Wrong Tide. Okay, that's fun. Always with Carrot. Surf Town. That's a good one. We'll give y'all a minute.
Round down.
Drown Town. That's a great name. Actually, that rhymes. Colonizer land. All right, we're going the wrong way with that. So this will give you a clue. Yeah, there you go.
It took me a minute.
Drown down.
This is Jan and Dean. If you haven't heard Jan and Dean, your grandparents are really good. Oh, that's loud. Very loud, but yes. Surf City, right? You know the song? They're talking about Huntington Beach, California. This is really the lamest video ever made, too.
Oh, we can't put the song.
He's holding a skateboard, but singing about surfing. You gotta like him.
He's also holding it like a phone. Now he's not, but he was.
This is before there was MTV.
He looks distracted.
Very, right?
It looks like he doesn't want to be there.
He probably doesn't.
What type of instinct turns
All right, so here's your next one. Whoop, whoop, go away. The dude surfing next to you called you Barney. Is that good or bad? Ooh. Hmm.
It says it hasn't changed this lot.
Oh, hang on. I gotta click that. I thought I clicked it. There you go. Carrot's not an option.
You can make it an option.
Yeah.
No, man.
Always make
Option
good
on
options
every question.
that one.
Y'all are ridiculous. Got 8 of you. It's about half of you answered there.
There's one thing, but it's an accident.
All right, so that's not good. That's somebody like untalented, amateur. You don't want to be Barney. All right. What's a gurfer or a wahine? Or a wahine? Anybody want to guess what it is? A gurfer.
Can you like not?
Girl surfer.
That's.
Good surfer. Okay, that's a good guess. These are good guesses. Little Wave. Always Carrot. Female surfer, big wave. Here's another one. Ooh, here they come.
Does he have two hills?
She might be another one. There's a couple of these. There's your answer. So, female surfer. Surfer. All right. I think this is the last surfer question. Then I have some other ones. Okay. So, what do surfers call sharks? This one's fun. Surfers, no?
What is
Bitey's Tony. Fish. Just a normal fish. That shark in the picture is just a normal fish.
Beasts, sea dogs that bite is a good one. If a shark,
Fish. Daily torpedoes.
all right, hold on,
Yes.
Lucas, listen. Tell me what is special about a shark biologically. Where does it's there's a specific thing about sharks. Does anybody remember
There's a lot of specific things.
about,
Yeah,
but-
there's a lot.
yeah, but we went over it in biology class that was very particular to sharks. Does anybody remember? Sharks, skates, and rays. Do you remember, PJ?
Start with that.
Hang on. It's coming to her. Do you know? What? Right.
The skeleton's made of cartilage.
Right. So is a shark a vertebrate?
Yes.
No. Is a shark a chordate?
Yeah.
Yes. Right? Has a spinal cord, but not a spinal column. Hmm. Yeah. So they call them men in gray suits.
What?
Yeah, right.
It's like the Men in Black.
All right. Now we're back to a sciencey question. What is a PQRST wave?
Does that have to do with the medicine?
Context clues.
Context clues. Good job, PJ. A PQRST wave. Here they come. X-rays. All right.
Don't put monkey on TV.
PQRST, a sick wave. Yeah. It actually is a pretty sick wave.
Big wave spike.
X-ray.
Keyboard smash. Yeah, that's a good one. A nurse,
Baby.
a baby.
It's always the carrot. There will always.
All right,
Monkey.
this is a PQRST wave. It's also called normal sinus rhythm. This is what an EKG. Yes, if you had an EKG, your electroencephalogram, which is what they would give you at the end here, or electrocardiogram, sorry, electroencephalogram is an EEG. Electrocardiogram, where they put the little electrodes on the chest and they watch your heart. Dee dee. This is what it does.
So that's what they see when you, in like the TV shows. when
Yes,
they're
the
up
little
and-
beep. You ever seen it? Okay, probably seen it in a movie. There's a little screen. There's a green wave on it. Goes beep, and then it goes beep. Yeah, right? Everybody knows. Yeah, okay, that's your PQRST wave. So if you have a PQRST wave that looks like this, you're good to go. If it doesn't look like this, you might have some problems, right? Mm-hmm.
Wait, so in that,
Mm-hmm.
there's also the little curves, or
These
on
little
the
guys?
monitors, is it only the straight up and down?
No, it monitors all of these. So all of these should come out on an
I've
EKG.
only ever seen like a straight up and down on the TV show.
Yeah, usually if you're seeing them on a monitor like this is drawn, so like an electrocardiogram that comes out like this, the old ones actually had like a little pen
Oh,
that
yeah.
would move, right? Like a seismograph has a
Yeah.
pen, right? So it would do the little motion thing, so you'd see the nice curves. Sometimes though, when they're converted onto a screen, it's more like a little jagged tick, tick, up and down, and it's just very small and you don't see it as well. But yeah, it's supposed to look like this. Did you have a question, James? You had your hand back in there to go. Did you have a question or no? Oh, you're conducting? Yes, conducting your PQRST wave. All right, what type of wave is this? Let's watch closely.
They should use that A instead of the. That's a nice name.
Yeah.
Go do the wave. That'd be an alternate.
You see it in the stands?
Sound waves. No, it's.
Too young to know better.
I'll watch it again. Make sure y'all are watching. What kind of wave?
17 to 21 demographic.
That's
They're doing the wave.
Hold on. There it goes.
Oh, it's doing something wrong. Too young to know better.
17 and younger.
Yeah.
So is the wave that you do in stands at a football game or a baseball game? Is that transverse, longitudinal, or surface? Y'all got to really think about it.
Well, why?
I don't know what that's about. I can't be responsible for whatever's gonna pull up. So it's transverse, because in that case, your medium is the air you're moving through, right? He's my favorite at the moment. His little Braves hat is so big, it's falling off his little head.
That's bigger than he is.
You want to scratch his little nose, right? Like,
The hat's bigger than he is.
well, he's a baby. His cool uncle gave him that hat.
Bigger than the chair.
All right, so we cannot, now I'm going to show you guys the really cool waveform pendulum with the bowling balls that I told you about. I'll show you that after this though. You cannot talk about waves without this guy. If you don't know this guy, you're about to know this guy. You will remember him the rest of your life.
But the park is still flooded, so you'll see kids.
Oh,
out there.
yeah.
Some of those kids today will be like, oh,
It's just like, dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude. Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. And you just drop in and just smack the lip, pull back, drop down, snap, ah. And then after that, you just drop in, just ride the barrel and get pitted, so pitted like that. Far out. It's like, dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude. Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. You just drop in and just smack lip, pull back, smack lip, pull back, smack lip, pull back, drop down, snap, ah, drop down, snap, ah, down, snap, ah, ah. And then after that, just drop in, ride the barrel and get pitted, so pitted like that.
It's a hair on the dude.
The internet knows him as Pitted Guy. So if you look him up, you will find him under Pitted Guy. Now let me show you the waveform pendulum with the bowling ball, because it's the best one. I had it pulled up and then I had to reboot. This is my favorite. Oh, commercials.
Whoa!
Okay. This is electromagnet drop, so it's perfect.
That's a lot.
Yeah?
I didn't pay for all that.
I don't know, but it's awesome. I want this in my backyard so bad. I would play with it all day, every day.
That's awesome.
It's about to get worse.
Watch.
Hey,
Y'all. Ours did that, but it's not as obvious because these balls are absolutely perfect and they're bigger. There's your triple wave,
That's better than straight.
right?
After you got the ball, will be up the side, so it'll be 2 lines, and you keep them in 1 2.
It's happening.
Oh. There's your halfway point,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
and then it reverses the whole thing.
Sounds good.
I like how it sounds personally.
Beautiful.
Good, but it sounds terrible.
Somebody's hacking up along. Excuse you.
And they're all gonna get back together.
There's the threes.
Yeah.
No.
No, beautiful.
It's like some of the strings are longer than the other strings. And
Thank
the
you.
ones with the longer strings go more slowly, and the ones with the shorter.
Wow.
But it's because they use the string to build the length
They
of
kind
the
of look like
string.
a circle in the back.
Yeah, they start lining up again. So there it goes, ready to line up.
And there it goes.
Back to my life.
It's like a-
That one
Big
is
wave again.
before.
Pretty amazing. I know.
How come hitting the balls doesn't slow the balls down?
It would to a degree, but it would slow them to a degree. But yeah, they're very heavy. If you were to do a smaller one out of billiard balls,
Finally, no.
so now that's a tabletop kind that you could build yourself, right?
Looks like they're spinning
And they're playing Stairway to Heaven because that's necessary when you do this apparently. But ooh, look at that.
It doesn't so bad.
It looks like they're going in circles.
Yeah, it looks like,
Right?
wow.
So they're much smaller, so you can get a different angle, like a different perspective when you see them, because they take up less space, right?
Yeah, it looks so pretty. It looks like it's going in a circle.
It's pretty impressive. Stairway.
It's certainly.
If you wanted to have a lot of fun with this, you could do lighted ones. I think that's a this is the one where they demonstrated if it had no friction, which is not even a thing because it doesn't make sense. But there is one, if I could find it, that has the best, aside from the electromagnet, the best possible oh, this one's real. These are real lights. It's a big, big one.
Go.
Video when they put music through it. That's a big.
Oh yeah. Oh, which one is? Oh, probably.
Music through it and it creates.
Yeah.
They really decided to bring out the smoke for this one.
Yeah, fancy physics for a festival, apparently. The Ghent Light Festival, so this would be in London, I imagine. Start them moving. Oh, exciting.
Oh, there it is.
Just go to the part where it's most.
Yeah, that's right there. There they go. So if you were to do it at night with lighted ones, you could get this kind of effect, right?
Wow.
It's captivating. This guy also has a lighted one. His is a smaller, not you. I know, they want to give you teeth. You are every ad. I don't know why you're every ad. Go. So this is easy because they've used bolts or nuts, sorry. So when you, those are nice and small, so,
Oh.
and you can really see these very well. And you could do a lot of them because they're inexpensive. So that's a cool way to do a tabletop one if you wanted to build one. Just captivating. Find that.
It started looking like it's going for a second.
There is a giant one though. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, how did they do that?
We turned off the lights.
And they've painted them with something. Ah, so
Oh, yeah.
this one is, okay, this is a graphic representation of what you saw earlier, right? But this is like a different perspective, but it's the same concept, just applied differently.
All the balls are moving at the same speed, right?
Yep,
And then there's a few times where the notes are because they're like some weird.
Yep.
Weird ones. So. But it sounds insane.
That's so nice.
That's super captivating. I mean, really.
And eventually it'll come back.
Yeah, just fall.
Oh, I could, yeah.
This is what you use.
This is almost like ASMR, right? I'll just watch this till I snooze.
Oh, it's hypnotizing.
I can't look away.
It also plays such like soft music as well.
Not one of those.
The metronome, you hear it? Tick, tick. Yep.
Going down to chaos.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh, it was like a swirling rainbow.
Do you see how you've got like sets of them now? Look.
Oh,
Oh.
And then you lose it again. So it's the same thing. Look at that.
that's
But see, it's the same thing we just saw, but this time they're not linear, right? They're in an arc.
now it's chaotic.
Yep. Now you get this weird looking chaos.
It's
Now look at that. Look.
It's not chaos anymore.
So how do you know when you're halfway through?
It was like two. It's like two spirals.
You can have every other one on. Yeah, exactly. Just like we did. Guys, do not yell. It is actually. Look at that.
Oh.
Just crazy.
Oh, beautiful.
There's you get your chaos. Now look at that. You see the interlocking?
Yeah.
That's like when we had the interlocking, so you know what's coming. The even sides is on its way, not too long after that interlocking bit. Look at those. See them interlock?
Oh. Exciting, man.
It is. It's pretty fascinating. Whoop, jumped a bit there. Look at that.
Oh, it's so
Like,
awesome.
what am I watching?
Magic.
Not getting a little chaotic.
Mhm.
Organized chaos.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah,
It sounds like an actual song too.
it does. Yeah. And basically, it's just ascending and descending scales, but they're overlapping multiple times. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Oh,
Ooh. Whoa.
Oh.
oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was your representation of when they had the ones at the top like this, and then the two at the bottom. That was your one on either side. This thing, it's the same thing. It's just represented like kind of like this here because it's an arc.
No, if you look, it's not chaos at all.
Yeah, it's really not.
No, no.
Oh.
It's 2 hours.
It's 2 hours, so we aren't gonna watch the whole thing, but pretty cool.
I'm gonna listen to that while I
the end of it.
I know.
Like once I get home, I'm just gonna.
See, if you build a Newton's cradle, like this guy did with bowling balls here, you notice that
No.
they're all exactly the same length.
Please do not put
Right.
fingers
Put your finger in it.
That's the difference, is they have to be the way that you have to measure them, like the ones that we had hanging here, is insanely precise. Like you have to be super, super perfect, or you can tell when it's off.
Yeah.
Tabletop one.
Sand, what's the sand pendulum?
Okay, so these are
Well, I like those.
like Foucault's pendulum.
I want the same.
So you can see, so this one though, this is not really, it kind of represents a wave. Oh boy.
What?
Oh wow.
No, I wanna watch that.
That's pretty cool.
It's harder to see the wave representation here, the way it works, because your
It's just cool.
starting point isn't the same, but yeah, they'll do a pattern, right? Yeah, temporarily. They have these that draw in sand. Have you seen those? So they draw in like a little, yeah, and then they have the kind, it just has to do with how far it is from the table. So it,
That's so amazing.
yeah.
Well, appreciate it. Then we'll take a look at the patterns that we can create using various setups of pendulums. Now, we can record the results using sand.
Please tell me I'm a little cooler than this public school science teacher, just a tiny, just a little, even a hair.
You have go ahead on him.
I do, thank you. I have 10 times the hair he has. Awesome, thank you there.
Complete movement back and forth also becomes long.
Ooh, yeah, thank you, Mr. Yeany, Mr. Yeany. Lord have mercy on him. So, yeah, so this one, I wanted to show you this one because this is just the pendulum.
Cena been recommended.
This is one of my favorite. This one's not waves, but we'll do one off topic before I let you go. This guy's a college physics professor and he does all kinds of awesome videos. There's tons of these. His name's Walter Lewin.
I've increased the potential energy of this object.
But this goes back to what we said about gravitational potential energy. He has a great video where he's on a bike and he fires something that pushes the bike forward.
Yeah, that's the one that I saw.
Yeah.
Reminds me a little of John Kreese.
Oh, yeah. So let's see. It takes them forever, but
Check mark.
so I want you to watch what he does though. So we talked about our gravitational potential energy. So he's swinging his pendulum, right? Ooh, and it broke the glass. Is he? Yep. Ugh.
So you're using then the conversion of gravitational potential energy to kinetic energy.
Drew, you start swinging
Now-
the crowd.
I am such a strong believer
Here he goes.
of the conservation of mechanical energy that I am willing to put my life on the line.
What?
I would love to take this guy's class.
If I release that bob from a certain height, then that bob can never come back to a point where the height is any larger. If I release it from this height and it swings, then when it reaches here, it could not be higher. There is a conversion from gravitational potential energy to kinetic energy back to gravitational potential energy, and it will come to a stop here. And when it swings back, it should not be able to reach any higher, provided that I do not give this object an initial speed when I stand here. I trust the conservation of mechanical energy for 100%. I may not trust myself. I'm going to release this object, and I hope I will be able to do it at 0 speed, so that when it comes back, it may touch my chin, but it may not crush my chin. I want you to be extremely quiet, because this is no joke. If I don't succeed in giving it 0 speed, then this will be my last lecture. I will close my eyes. I don't want to see this.
I would close my eyes too.
I almost didn't sleep all night. 3, 2, 1, 0. Physics works, and I'm still alive.
Physics works and I'm still alive. Okay, before you leave today, because we had extra time, so I wanted to do this because it's the first day of the semester. Want you to get, I'll put it back up, but I want you to get with whatever senior lab rats are in your Q4 lab group and take until at least, let's say 1:10. So give yourselves like 20 minutes to start coming up with some rough ideas of things that you have, like open your binder to the assignment, found items and things that you have that may be able to use. Let me open that back up so you can see where your teams are. Maybe, hello. Your Q4 lab teams. It just doesn't want to, here it goes. Okay. And I'll put that back up.
I must take everything in one trip.
Yep, I wouldn't blame you. So if you have a car and you want to leave at 110, you're good at 110. So that, oh wait, third. I'm sorry. I meant to put up, hang on. I know where it is. Will you please close? I'm telling you to close. There we go. Hold on. Wrong one. Do. All right, here you go. So these are your groups for fourth quarter. So you're gonna wanna find these folks, huddle up, and start coming up with some ideas. Open your binders to that final project and see what's there, and start looking specifically. What you wanna look at, I think, first of all, is the part about found items. Okay? Found items. You're allowed a certain amount of, allowed to spend a certain amount of money, and then you're allowed to have found items. Look at the bit about found items, and you're good to go. Yeah,
Is it $40 per team or per person?
it says it right in there. It should say it.
No, I
Not all teams are the same size. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the table.
Oh.
Lucas. Lucas. Lucas.
You will bring order to the situation.
Lucas, you're gonna use that as my profile, right? What? Are you gonna use that as my profile? Why? Why'd you take it? So I could show you
But he was the one that.
Eunice is here too, so if you have Eunice on your team, James, Chloe, you can round him up if you want. He's in the pub.
He's gone now.
Actually, he's in the pub if you want to take the pub room. Spread out. So if there's anybody else with the random slings. And you're so funny. I'm very proud of myself. 20 years of my life, I gave up on it, and I bought one of them. So they.
Jordan, you're on my final level. One's a food, someone's a.
Yeah, they do. They look real
Standard.
We're
going for assessment.
Right. You're gonna be outside, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you too. Yeah, outside.
You too.
I put my marker in my bag. Oh, I do.
Read the rules.
Stuff out for the final.
PJ is right. You're gonna wanna read your rules. I'll pull it up. Yeah? No, they did that last time because we were all virtual because of COVID, but yeah, I bet you could.
We're gonna start discussing. Then you're on my team. Or you're on my team.
Yeah, it's right there, and here it is up here too, if anybody needs it. Actually, I'll make it, let me do it in, let me do this one because I'm gonna put them side by side. You can see a little better.
There is. So each machine.
So you will be outside, just so everybody knows, you will be outside. There will be like equally sized areas outside the fence that are going to be cordoned off for you, like roped off.
can't.
Oh, they pull out or something.
Hold on a ball weight and then
Same
the
type of machine, cannot run
consistently.
There is a rest of 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 times.
I don't have this word.
10 minutes if he runs.
Wait, you have a phone number?
Okay.
Let's know how you.
So, with the email, we have to first,
That works too.
what we would do is we try and start thinking of what type of materials we want to use. So, for example, the marble track, we could use those because originally those would, because we have it start falling, that could be the gravitational, gravity.
I love it. Use a lever that pushes up on.
Or we could do something like that. So, start,
Yeah, it's connection of. Oh, yeah, that's also, we have to like, I mean, not how to do that. Last thing.
so we have to start figuring out what type of, probably will use that's what would be.
It's so cool.
Because it's simple. That's quite easy to use. I'll let these start.
I definitely didn't do that.
Okay.
It's actually original and it's one.
They have to leave it 4 out of 6, and they have to give it 2. So, we don't ask
Why
why.
did you do it?
What we can do is we can get like a dowel, a wooden dowel. Or like, Miss Danny?
Yes,
Would a, like, rock puller count as wheel and axle?
a car,
Like
like a diecast car?
Like a matchbox. car.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we could use like, bring like a matchbox track.
And I will let you guys like kind of check out of the library, certain things like Kinects, Legos, Hot Wheels tracks.
My brother has Hot Wheels tracks.
Yeah.
The launching mechanism.
Oh, perfect.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be like found items. You could absolutely bring that.
So for the wheel and axle, we use like law parts or, matchbox parts. Because that would count as wheel and axle. And then we can use the tracks to do, because that also count as, transfer of energy if we use like the launch mechanism. Because it goes from spinning to the car.
He's spoiled. He's absolutely and utterly, completely spoiled brat. Like,
Yes, thank you.
yeah, he'll go up your nose with his tongue too. I mean, entirely up your nose. Need you go boy. Yep.
Yeah,
Are we gonna do like a screw and wedge?
so a wedge would be a little bit, we can try to think of how we can do a wedge.
Ah, gross, Oswald. That's disgusting. He's good at that.
Because an inclined plane is also simply a track.
Yeah,
Think about the track,
yeah.
and then we can use matchbox cars to count as a wheel and axle. At least we've done it, I find that but in case later on. And then, does that make sense?
And some of you may have the advantage of there being some bit of gravity just because the art floats
Yeah.
slightly.
So if we do inclined plane.
Mhm.
The start could be, a pulley. So you pull wing is down.
We were gonna do, we can have the track that go down, and then make that, right? So we can set up.
Buy some like.
Yeah, have like smaller items on one side.
Well, look at that closet.
So like.
Yeah.
We can't spend more than $40.
Yeah.
Wait, how much will it last?
Anything found is a lot. You find it, the found item, you already
So
found
have
it.
you guys seen those things
So like it's like boxes and things.
So it's like start one way and then it like tilts over the other way.
If you want to go to a really interesting.
Basically the force from one side transfers and it pushes it over.
United Recycling.
So like,
If you take 141 and you
Like,
just go west, like on
something over.
road,
yeah, kind of.
Coast Road is on the left, it's a massive.
You know Bolton, right?
You're allowed to go.
Or like you'll use like a Bolton and you put it over a gap.
By weight.
Try to get someone like that where you try and use it to get.
We got all the resources we built at that junkyard.
Or it's like the thing that we are using, whether it's a marble or a car, hit something like a domino. Oh, but those may count as a lever because it's move around a few days. And that could count as another item. Once we figure out what we want to do for each of these simple machines, we can figure out how we want to put them together. So that's why I'm trying to figure out how to set up some machines now and come up with ideas for what we can do with them, so that we can start figuring out what we need to get. I need to ask the state about the domino to count as a lever. And then we would still have to do at least one more. Meal and acts. So, it doesn't have to be actual, it could be.
Remember the tracks together. I don't think that counts, but yeah.
No, you don't have to.
This is it back on.
The Stanley
Yeah.
would having like a domino, like a domino train counts like a lever function, or like a domino, if something pushes the domino over.
Yeah, it could be, and that's really like a great example of your transfer of energy, because that's where you can definitely see like a potential to a kinetic, because it happens each time, so yeah. Colin's group and Bailey's group, I was telling the other guys over here, if you want to go to a place where you're considering spending your budget, if you want to spend your budget, there is a place, down 141, if you take 141 and you go all the way west, all the way, it's a good way. Crossover Post Road, there's a place called United Recycling. All the bicycle wheels above my front door, that's where they keep. It's a massive junkyard. And you can go in with your tool set, you gotta wear like I described them as like ghetto blaster boots, you know, like the big boots, because the ground is scary. There's all kinds of things, sharp things. But if you take your tools, they charge you by weight. So all of those bicycle wheels cost $15. So they have everything there. All that iron fence that runs down my yard, that's all in there. So if you're looking for like a big wheel and axle or, you know, springs, all of that's there. Like they have everything. It's really fun. It's a fun place. It's weird, but it's a fun place to go. It's really, you walk in, it's like this big rusty mud puddle full of everything. Like, it's fun. We took all the tools. We're out there like breaking wheels off of bicycles so we could put that together and came home, cleaned them up, painted a couple of them, but a lot of them look just like they looked out there. But it's like all that iron fence, and then there's like a big piece over here. And it's just great. You drive in.
Doesn't have a truck, and there's no way my mom.
I plugged it in my minivan, like I just put a tarp in or a sheet, throw it in the minivan.
So what we can do.
The ideal circumstance.
You
would
try-
have a pickup truck, you can toss 30
Yeah. You drive in,
Instead
and
of having
your
it
vehicle on a
someday,
scale, and they weigh your vehicle, and then you drive out, and they weigh your vehicle. Yeah.
Ask ChatGPT as
or we have it
a,
like.
put all the rules you
So
have
your
and
house
ask
is
it
big,
to
small,
do it,
and like.
and then it's
size
cheat
over.
with
I'd
that.
say that's cheating.
And then
That's
that
not
way
cheating
you
because
can
I'm
grab-
building it and I'm not
Yeah.
missing anything.
Well, it can help you come up with ideas. You could use it as a come up with ideas, just like,
We all agree
I
that
mean,
one
if you
of
read
that-
that policy, the AI policy, it's probably just pretty much covers that, you can make it work.
And then we just have to figure out what we can do for a lever. Like, how would you do a lever? Lever, like a wedge or a screw.
Could we possibly do like a thing where like, I don't know, if that's gonna be possible, but like having the car like go down an incline plane and it'll have like a fulcrum and it'll just like way down, kind of like a seesaw, and it'll just go back down. I don't know if that's something. That's just the first thing that came to mind.
Hey, sweetie. How are you?
I think
I didn't get
all
my-
you do is inform.
It's okay. Thank you for getting that. I appreciate that.
Or a lever, wheel, a wedge and screw. And next week we can talk about
That.
and try and brainstorm some more ideas. And try and see if you have anything like your house use, whether it's, just like recycled things, stuff like that. And we'll hopefully get some more figured out next week.
Guys, leave the telegraph alone, please. Leave the telegraph alone. Thank you. Whoever's ticking. So you'll start building it in lesson 30. So you'll have lesson 30,
What was today's?
31. Today was 18. So you'll have lesson 30 and 31 to build. And 32. You'll have 3 full weeks to work on your build. And then we'll wrap up with. Yes, go ahead. How about it? Oh, he has been kissing everybody.
The judge would call me over again. Oh, no, I just think she explained her whole thing. It's RJ. So yeah, she had the shop. She said,
Start again.
send a number. It does get on it, then I said the insurance adjuster is supposed to contact you. Okay, no problem, I'll send you a copy of the estimate, and I'll just, so we can get it all covered.
Ready, Midget?
Excellent. Let her know that we did talk to each other and you call her, just so you know that she knows that you made that contact. Oh, what happened, Cole? Yeah. You're not driving, are you, Thomas? Are you driving yet?
Yes.
No. Did you see this? He'll show you. Cole had a bad afternoon. You know his car is his baby, right? Like his car is his baby.
I don't like that.
It's only running our red lights.
And he deboned her because she, it
Yeah, but she ran over.
was her fault. Yeah.
The car will be okay, it's really, it looks bad, but it's just the bumper, so it's all cosmetic. It ran, it broke.
Oh, no.
Somebody punched you right in the mouth.
The lady, right?
Yeah.
I got 5 classes with my dad, and all of them were ladies. That's why I'm never driving.
It's been a guy who's behind him.
Your dad was in those accidents, so it's 50-50.
Like, no,
Only, I didn't only do
Five
because there's some guy directing. There's some over here.
Yeah.
We take them 10.
So he had a.
Thanks, the car ran
I
fine.
don't think we use that.
Body shop. So, I mean, I looked stupid on the way there, I didn't have a bumper, but whatever, it got down there, so it mattered, so the
I think so.
engine's fine, transmission's fine, brakes are fine. Bullet system's fine.
Yeah, try G-A-F-G.
One of my headlights is busted, and that's about it, and then the whole bumper's off.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, they're up there. They're up there on the desk in front of the.
As long as it runs.
Oh, it runs fine.
Right
here. He followed me
It
over.
ran better, actually, because the air intake.
Colombian
Chrysler
boy.
designed the air intake bumper, the bumper wasn't there, so. it was-
That's a good one. Mac and
So it was
cheese,
quicker too.
Do you know how?
colder than ever.
No.
Cold.
No, it's cool.
That's, oh, cooler than ever.
The way it's cool, they're home great getting his car.
Yeah, we got mac and cheese, so we're the
Like,
coolest.
I've tried-
No, we're the coolest.
I think
You
I'm driving
told MC him, we were the best.
So, we're gonna-
Yeah, we have friends who own an auto body shop in here yet. So we were like, did you?
What's your name?
And hire RJ's Auto Body. They're old friends, like,
I was wondering if their name is Vincent.
no, Edith and Jeff, they're real good people, but we like, they've known me since before I became high school. So I mean, they've known him his whole life, so but they hadn't seen him in years, and Jeff's this little short dude. So he comes out of his office, he goes, oh my God. That's funny. Find it?
Good again?
That's the lower one.
Okay, cool.
Oh, let me see, there's a. No one.
Which one are you looking for?
No, kind of even specific. No. Actually, E is a half step. Oh. So if you did, so she knows like what else big that, but if you do. Okay. There you go. That'll do great. So like real quiet, Colin. Then higher, so hear it in your head, boom, boom.
Like a crazy chain stuff.
Yeah, you have a whole step, so you start here, 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 here. What do you do? This one first. Oh, it's not quick.
Oh.
Not quite. Take it, sheet music, I'll tell you what it is.
We're back to play crazy chain.
It's okay. You're gonna be laughing, and maybe it's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Where'd my coins go?
Did I see them?
Yeah, I think you had like 4, didn't you?
Yeah.
4 or 5-ish. There.
All right, who can read it? This is what.
I cannot.
I
I couldn't read music the same way. I used to play the Timmy Whistle, but all the sheet music I had little pictures that showed which whole thing you could cover.
Yeah, so it's your.
Yellow one after purple. On the table.
So you want to add? So. Jason's on, so he's working. So, A, F, A, E. F, A, E. There's A. Yeah, F, A, E. F, A, E. F, that's it.
Oh, wait.
That's what they have here, at
Is
least.
it AEFM?
We have here,
But it's not in.
E is. Wait, oh, where is it? I'm looking in the middle of the piece, trying to find it, it's not.
Is that, this is G. So,
See?
is that?
So G shows
so
range.
G, so that. That's
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
No, not too loud, Jason's on and I'm not back to work. This morning he was at a court thing, so he wasn't here. Yeah, he was used. Oh, there's the ledger lines on that. I think that. I mean, I don't do well with base plus because I don't sing it, but I don't have to think about it every time. Like I can read it if you're gonna say, here's your key, start singing. Okay, I can read it because intervals are intervals, but
Right.
Letter names are always hard if it's bass.
The blood fallen on writing.
Oh, I should shut that off.